All right, so welcome back to the A to Z challenge. I'm all the way up to P for picking your path. It turns out there are three really important paths that you can pick in publishing. You can go the traditionally published route, that's the big five. You can go somewhere smaller than that, and that would be something more along the lines of um, an independent publisher, a small publisher, or you can go with self-publishing. These are the three paths. It's important to pick your path before you get too far along the path because if you take some paths, it closes doors to other paths. For instance, if you're querying both agents so that you can get an agent and then go on to traditionally published, and you're querying small publishers at the same time, likelihood is you're not going to manage to get to the big five publishers with that model set, because what's going to happen is there you are, you're trying to get the attention of an agent and you instead get picked up by a small press, and then you come back to the agent and say, hey, look, I have this publishing contract, with this press, will you represent me? Well, if they say yes, they're going to represent you, then suddenly they're in a position where they're kind of like, well, you wanted this publisher, right? So now we have to negotiate with this thing that I already know that you want. So we're already negotiating from a very weak standpoint. So the only thing we can do is push back and be kind of mean. That's not good negotiating location. By the way, that's hard. It's hard to deal with. So from a negotiation standpoint, you don't want to do that. What you really want to do is you want to pick the path that isn't going to close any doors and work from there, unless you already know which direction you want to go. So for instance, if you know that what you want is self-publishing, don't bother querying. It's not going to help you any. The only time you would want to query is after you've self-published something and you're totally famous then, and you've gotten all of the, all the sales, and then you can be like, oh, hey, I sold this many copies of my book. I'm up for the second book. I feel like I should be looking into selling some of the other rights to these books. Like maybe it's time to look for someone to buy movie rights. Stuff like that. So you've got that going on, right? And if you cut out one of your steps or one of your paths, this could be really disappointing. Some people don't understand that if you send queries to small publishers, that you're basically telling that publisher, hey, I would like to publish with you. I mean, that's what a query means. That's what it means when you send a query to an agent also, by the way. Hey, I would like to be represented legally by you in my publishing endeavors. So take those queries very seriously. Don't just be like playing a game. Now, having said that, you might not know which path you want, right? So many of us don't know. I mean, we have this thing, we worked on it really hard, and we know that we'd like to get it published. And ostensibly, we'd like it to be in as many hands as possible. That's sort of like the end game for writing, is to get as many readers as possible reading it. And so most people are going to be very much for the big five. Okay, so you want to query agents first, because you got to get an agent. This is kind of cool as far as processes go, because even if you want a small publisher or you're not sure, you're not 100% sold on the idea of the big five, having an agent is good because they can also direct your career. They can give you advice. Having an agent can also be bad because they might direct your career away from the direction that you want it to go. This is a part of the journey where you want to be really, really, really honest, not only with yourself, but with everyone around you. When you have an agent and you're talking to them, you need to be very honest about what your end game for your career is. Agents, wonderful people. They're in the business to make money and to help people with their books. It's a wonderful cross section where they get to help people with books and make money with it. But this can sometimes cause slightly conflicted interest if you're more into the artsy side of things and you're more into the I want to do a thing that makes people feel a thing rather than the I want to do a thing that makes people spend their money thing. So you have to be aware of this. You have to know this going in, where you stand. And you want to do this because you really, really, really don't want to be querying agents and small presses at the same time. Don't do that. That's rough. That's hard. That's hard on everyone. Everyone suffers when you do that. It's really hard on the agents. It's really hard on the publisher. I mean, if you come back with an agent and suddenly they're like, no, we don't want to do that. We need these other terms. How confusing is that? I mean, I'm not saying don't negotiate your contract. always negotiate your contract. What I am saying though is try not to send out mixed signals. And I know that it's really hard because in writing, you feel like every decision is the decision that's going to make or break your career. It isn't. It's going to make or break this one book maybe, but it's not going to be, the career killer, or at least we hope not. If you continue to write, you will eventually be able to do something else, even if you do manage to mess up one career very impressively. And we'll get to that with R for reviews when we get up to R for reviews, but later on. So pick your path. Big publishers, medium publishers, self-publishing. And remember that you can start aiming for the big publishers, query all the agents, and then move on to smaller publishers. This works best if you also go through and analyze what's working with your query and your manuscript as you go. This can also be a very helpful tool. Maybe you don't want to go to small presses. Maybe you just want to figure out how to make your manuscripts better in the future so that you can do a better job with the agents trying for the big five. Okay. Again, if you leave any questions, I'll certainly answer those. So good luck.